Good morning. Today is Wednesday, January 26, 2022. Today is a B-Day. Secret Valentine Fundraiser Suites for your secret suite, sponsored by the class of 2024 sophomores. Each Secret Valentine is $1. The Secret Valentine treat will have one heart-shaped lollipop with a message of your choice to have delivered to your secret someone. Pre-sales will begin the week of January 17th and end on February 9th. Distribution will begin February 10th and will be distributed to homerooms. Order forms are available on the student launchpad, and a sophomore class representative will come to you to collect the money. Give a suite to your secret suite and help support the sophomore class. Cohort 2018 is excited to announce a monthly attendance incentive contest for the remainder of the school year. Students with the best attendance and the most improved attendance will be entered into a drawing for gift cards and other prizes. 10 winners will be announced on GBTV.
I don't want to go. Can we do this up?
An apple? You shouldn't be even in class.
What the heck? Why did you pull me out of class and take away my apple?
Because you could have destroyed the property you're not supposed to eat in class.
How's an apple supposed to destroy any property on the school, let alone a computer?
You could slam the apple into the screen.
Fine, I guess I won't eat in class.
Don't eat in class.
The Colonnade magazine is looking for student work for the annual publication. Please submit your poems, short stories, plays, or your photograph, artwork, or doodles to the Colonnade advisors, Mr. Waltz and Mrs. McCurdy. Feel free to contact them with any questions at rwaltz@necsd.net or vmccurdy@necsd.net. The cosmetology clinic is open for students and staff members. Only Fridays, periods 1 through 4. Call to make your appointment. Walk-ins are welcome.
Man, I need a haircut.
I mean, if you need a haircut really badly, then you could just go to this room. It's the cosmetology room. You can honestly just choose many different choices right here on this paper right now, so if you want.
Which one do you think I should get? I don't know which one to get.
Well, from the looks of your style of hair and choice, I'd say most likely probably get the highlighting and color for foil, which is only $3 if you want.
Do you think I should get the color blue and gold for the highlights?
Yeah, I mean, it would be good promotion colors for the school, the school that we're in, Newburgh Free Academy. Want to get your hair done? Go to cosmetology.
Mrs. Caldera will be hosting final auditions on Monday, January 31st from 2:30 to 4 in the NFA Dance Studio. Transportation home must be arranged. Please pick up packets in all administration offices prior to auditions. All students are eligible to participate. Come dressed and prepared. Please see Mrs. Caldera in her office, room 236, periods 4, 7, or 9, if you have any questions. Student parking has been opened up for juniors. Stop by the Student Activities offices, room 280 in West Wing, to pick up an application. If you would like extra help in Spanish, sign up for the Empire program. Mrs. Pimentel is tutoring all levels on Tuesdays and Thursdays in room 145, from 2:30 to 3:50.
Yo, let's go to lunch.
ID, they wouldn't be allowed in. It's also for your safety. You can also use your ID for your lunch as well.
The Empire program will run on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2:20 to 3:50. There is no busing yet. Please see Mr. Cruz in 264 or Ms. Salisbury in the main office for more information and schedules. Seal of Biliteracy is in room 213 with Ms. Van Reyes and Mrs. Mendez. Music will be in 258 with Dr. Carroll. Building Beautification is in room 138 with Mrs. Michaud. If you are already registered, please report to the lecture room upon dismissal. Other activities will be announced soon. As a reminder to our students, you must have your ID with you and visible at all times. There will be various security checks throughout the building where your ID will need to be presented if you are in the hallway after the bell. If you do not have your ID, you will be detained. Have a good day, NFA.
Hello, my name is Mr. Sohan. I teach a course in biology. It's called the human body. And today we're going to look at the eyeball. And we're going to talk about the structure of the eyeball, the anatomy of the eyeball. And in addition to that, we're going to perform some tests to determine the acuity of vision. We could also do some tests to test for depth perception, the eyeball's role in depth perception. We're going to do something that will allow us to demonstrate the fact that behind our eyes we have what's called a blind spot. And then lastly, we're going to do what's called a fusion test. Okay, so when it comes to vision and how we see things, it's kind of like an interaction between things inside the eye called receptors and how they communicate with the brain. Okay, so the receptors that are inside the eye are in this orange layer here, and these are called photoreceptors. We have two types. We have rods, which are for like very dim light, seeing in the dim light, which are for black and white vision, and then we have cones, which give us our color vision. But anyway, all these different receptors line the orange layer called the retina, and then they all converge in the back of the eye at this spot right here, which is called the optic disc. And if you look at the back of the eye, you can see how the optic disc comes out the back of the eye. So because of we need space for the nerves to come out of the eye, we can't have any receptor cells in those spots. So what happens is each eye has a blind spot because we can't put receptor cells that are sensitive to the sun or to light in that spot. So each eye has a blind spot. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to demonstrate your blind spot. All right, so an easy way to show your blind spot or to find your blind spot is to use this simple test. What you're going to do is you're going to cover one eye and you're going to put your right thumb over the X. Do not look at the dot, just look at the X. And when you bring the paper in, you'll see that dot will disappear, but you can only see the dot in your peripheral vision. Don't look directly at it. As you bring it in slowly, the dot will disappear, and then as you bring it in further, it will reappear. So let me know. That comes over. See it?
Yeah, now it's gone.
Now it's gone. Now it's back. So show me exactly. Do it again.
Okay.
Go slower. When does it go away?
Right now.
Okay, so now it's gone. Keep going.
Right now.
Back. Okay, so the reason why it disappears is because that light that is reflecting off that dot is being focused on that area behind the eye that doesn't have any rods and cones where the optic nerve is exiting. So that's the blind spot. Okay, so with humans, obviously we don't have one eye, we have two eyes. And we have binocular vision, so both eyes are always out in front, and both eyes are always receiving information. Now, if I'm looking at something to the left or right, both eyes can pick it up, but they're going to be receiving it at different angles, right? So when the information comes back into the brain to be processed, we have images that are at different angles, and that information is going to be fused, right, in what's called the optic chiasma, which is kind of in the middle of the brain, and then it'll go to the back of the brain at the occipital lobes where it's processed. But because we have information coming from two eyes at two different angles, it gives us what's called depth perception. It allows us to see in 3 dimensions. Okay, so our depth perception comes from the fact that we are using two eyes. So when we lose vision in one eye, it affects our depth perception, right? So let's demonstrate that. So a very simple test that demonstrates depth perception is this test that we can use 2 very small graduated cylinders and a pen. When I have both eyes open, my depth perception is pretty high. So I have good depth perception. So I should be able to take my pen and insert it into the graduated cylinders pretty easily, like so. Oh, I missed that one time. So I was 4 for 5. Now, if I was to cover one eye and do it, I would lose depth perception, or my depth perception wouldn't be as good. And then if I was to do the same test again, I might find it to be a little bit more difficult. So if I cover one eye and do it, 1, 2, I'm missing 3. Oh boy, that was bad. 4, I got 1. 5, I got 2. Okay, so I went from 4 to 5 with both eyes to 2 to 5 with only one eye. When we have both eyes looking at objects, the images in the brain become fused or they become blended. Sometimes we can interrupt this by isolating one eye, by surrounding it with a tube. Now it becomes more difficult for this information in the brain to blend or to fuse. And the brain will have a difficult time processing this information. We're going to demonstrate this by doing the test called hole in the hand. This test is pretty simple. What you're going to do is you're going to take this tube and you're going to put it over your eye, and you're going to keep both eyes open. You have to focus on something. We're going to focus on the wall. And when you're looking at it with both eyes, what happens is one eye is being isolated, so the brain is getting the message, but it's not so clear. So what happens is when you look at the image, keeping both eyes open, put your hand up against this tube, and you tell me what happens.
It looks like you're like looking
It looks like it's going right through the middle of your hand, like that. So yeah, that's because normally when we're looking at things with two eyes, things get picked up by both eyes and they get blended nicely. But when we isolate one eye, the brain has a hard time processing. So this is what's called the Snellen Eye Chart, and this measures visual acuity. You may be seeing one of these at motor vehicle department when you have applied to get your driver's license. They'll make you read from these lines. Now, normal vision, I don't know, maybe you've heard is 20/20 vision, right? So, well, what does that mean? Well, this line right here says 20/20 next to it. That means if you stand 20 feet away from here, you should be able to read this line. And that's what normal vision is. A person with normal vision should be able to read that line from 20 feet away. Now, if you could read the smaller one, this from 20 feet away, you would have what's called 20/15 vision. So you could read, what that means is, you could read from 20 feet away what a person with normal vision has to stand 15 feet away. Okay, so your vision is a little bit better. If you go above, the numbers change the opposite way. So if you could read this one from 20 feet away, your vision isn't quite as good. You would have 20/25 vision. So what that means is you could read from 20 feet what the normal eye can read from 25 feet. And you can see it gets much worse. If you could only read this one from 20 feet, then your vision would be described as being 2100. That would mean that you could read from 20 feet what a normal eye can read from 100 feet. Okay, so let's see where you are. So let's do a test that measures your visual acuity. Let's start at 20/20. Tell me if you can read this line right here. Okay, that's very good. So you have normal vision. Let's see if your vision is better than mine. Let's read line number 9. Very good. Try number 10.
F, D, P, L, T, C, E, O.
Correct.
Was that correct?
The last one.
F, E, O, L, C, F, T.
No, we had some errors there. So this is where you ended up. So this says 2013. So for you personally, you can see from 20 feet what the normal eye has to stand at 13 feet. So I get this question a lot. What is the purpose of this lesson? I remember being in school thinking that the same question to myself in math, looking at these complex math problems. What is the purpose of this? What am I going to use this? Well, believe it or not, in this class, this is called the human body, and we all have one of those. So it's important to know the parts of the body and how they work. So the anatomy and the physiology. And this is especially true for the eyes. Now, some of us are going to go into the medical field. Maybe after graduation, you're going to go into sports medicine. Maybe you're going to go into nursing, or maybe you're going to be a doctor or something like that. So having a basic understanding of the human anatomy and the physiology is very important in order to go on and do something like